That little shit. Do you know what he did? He removed me like this guy here. I joined 1-on-1. He said, what champion? I said Tryndamere, and he just banned me. What can I say? Okay, so I want to talk about something which is... I was thinking about this, and there's literally no escape from the loser's queue. I'm talking about like the whole concept of you trying to get coaching. Almost 95% of all discussions I have with League of Legends players when we get serious is how do you escape. Fundamentally ask the same question: how do you escape the loser's queue? And the answer to that, unfortunately, is there's no way to do it. Okay, there's absolutely zero way to do it, because I either tried strategies myself, or I've researched and seen strategies that I potentially wanted to deploy, only to realize that they don't work. There is no way to stop your teammates from feeding. There is no way to stop your teammates from, let's say you freeze your lane, you go back to buy items, and then your jungler comes to your lane and then pushes the lane and sometimes freezes the lane for the enemy team, which means he basically just outplayed you, your own jungler. So I'll give you some examples, The first one is usually say, okay, if I become good at Jax, like OP champ, I'm going to escape the loser's queue. And the answer is no. Because we know Uli ZX, he is good at Jax. And I've seen his game. I'll give you an example, because you think, okay, if I'm going to win my lane, if I'm going to stomp my lane as Jax, no one is going to stop me. So he went 6-0 in his lane against Renekton. But his team went 0-26. So the score was 6-26. And Uli, all the kills that they had on the team was Uli's kills. And he could not carry the game because their Draven, I think he had 14 kills or something like that. It was just ridiculous. He tried to defend an inhibitor turret. That Draven, with one auto, did 60% of his HP. Because he already had Bloodthirster. He basically already had 4 items, that Draven. It was like 19 for 21st minute, I think. 60% of his HP with one auto. So, that's not gonna help you. So being good at Jax is not gonna help you. Next one is being good at Riven. So I watched Viper, he is from NA. I specifically watched him and see, can he carry every single game as Riven? And the answer is no. You're gonna run into the same problems as everybody else. You're gonna get counterpicked. I personally saw somebody counterpicked him with Illaoi, right? And this Illaoi hit her Q on Riven, and that Q did like 30% or 40% of her HP in damage. So one button, 40% of her HP. Then that Illaoi pushed the lane into Viper's turret. So Viper was under a turret. And then Illaoi flashes into Riven, presses R, and Riven just melts. Even though Viper like kind of dodged a couple of tentacles, I mean, overall he just melted. So I thought to myself, holy shit, okay. Riven is probably a bad pick into Illaoi. And like, you have to remember, this guy is a professional player. Like, Viper is a professional player, so that's not gonna work either. And I saw a lot of videos of people who have been playing Riven for like 5 years full time, and they do not they do not have better results than, say, a Tryndamere player, Tryndamere main, right? So there's in fact, all Tryndamere mains have better win rates than Riven mains. Even Riven mains who have been like playing it full time and religiously practicing Riven for like number of years, like 3+ years, like Tryndamere mains just better win rate overall. So that's not gonna work. You can go to, I went to Russian server, I said fine, people, it's much easier to play on a different server. Maybe I'll get better luck there. It was even worse. Like the games are so one-sided because population of servers is so small. It's literally unplayable. Now, I'll tell you, it is easier, but loser skew, you really feel the loser skew. Like loser skew normally is like 0.20, but in there it's like 0.50. Do you know what I mean? It's disgusting. So not gonna work either. Play jungle Yi. I already tried that. You're gonna have feeding lanes, and then their mid laner is gonna start camping you in your own jungle with their jungler. Because I had the game, I remember, like, I was playing Master Yi. Of course, I'm not a Master Yi main. I don't know what the hell he's doing. But their Talon went like 5-0 in mid lane, and then he was literally farming my jungle. And I couldn't even approach him because he had like 2 items, so like 9 minutes. I was like, dude, like, if this guy catches me in my jungle, he's gonna one-tap me. Right? So you're gonna have like standard jungles. I tried Tryndamere jungle as well. You're gonna have 4 feeding lanes. And I have no idea what to do. Like, no idea. What else? I tried split pushing. So this is when I was buying move speed items and anything to take down turrets fast, but at the same time being able to duel anyone. So your team will die to 3 of enemy players. And 2 most fed will be chasing you. So you have to remember, 2 of the most fed enemies are gonna be chasing you. And your team, 4 players, are still going to lose to enemies 3 underfed players. This is because, you see, when you're dealing with feeders, they don't play, they just run away. I made a lot of videos on this, like on my channel, you can find them, where they just, like, they just run away, and that's it. They just don't do anything, right? So it's completely pointless. They're just basically punching bags, right? So, like, it's not gonna work. What else did I try? I tried Nasu stop. Okay. So counter picks are a big problem. CC is a big problem. By the time you stack up, the game is usually lost. Right? So, I mean, they pick some like Laue, like Yorick, or Mordekaiser. You like, for you to play lane as Nasus versus like shit like Mordekaiser is very difficult, and then your team is feeding, like, it's not gonna work. I already tried it. What else? Yeah. Trinda dominate early. Again, you're gonna have 4 feeding lanes. Game will transition into late game. Enemy stacks armor. You are useless. That's the outcome I get in the loser skew. I just don't know what to do. And plus there are counter picks. What else did I try? I tried Kale. Right, by the time you scale, your team will be 0. Like, scale needs about 25 minutes, right? On average, feeders die 1 time every 2 minutes, right? So think about it, right? If we go to about 30 minutes, score is going to be 0-15. So your team is going to be 0-15. And there is no way that you're scaling on like 1.5 item is superior to 15 kill and probably 2 dragon enemy team. Right? It's just by gold value, it's just you cannot do it. I already tried. Okay, so next one was I tried tank top. So I even played Alistair top, honestly. Alistair, like Malphite, Mundo, I tried. It's the same problem. Your team is good, you stomp. Your team sucks, their ADC one taps you. Because I played against Tristana, I remember she was so fed. I was Mundo. I felt like I was made out of paper. Because she was just way too fed. Okay? So as you can see, like I already tried absolutely almost anything, right? And it's just there's no way to get out of the loser's queue. The only way to win is just not to play. That's what I'm saying, is that's why I'm pushing like 1-on-1, is because I mean you just cannot outplay engagement optimized matchmaking. It's just not gonna work. Okay? So now, the natural counter to this is people gonna say, oh yeah, but like Rangers, he can win every single game in normal, or he can win whatever, like 100% in like gold or whatever, right? Okay, Rangers is a prodigy, right? He is very good at League of Legends. There are very few people on the planet Earth that can replicate his results. Okay, just think about it this way. People exist out of a large population. Let's say, what's the population of League of Legends, right? League of Legends total players. 180 million players, right? So out of those 180 million, there's probably 1 in every 10,000 that will be able to, win every game or whatever, is like talented enough. His brain is wired so well for the game that he is actually like performing miracles. Like I'll give you a good example. Right, this guy here, look. The guy name is the Iceman. They call him the Iceman. What's his name? Wim Hof. This guy here. Wim Hof. Now, he can swim in extreme temperatures. Right, this water here, right? And he goes and he swims for 15 minutes. This water is 2 degrees. Most people will die doing this. Most people. But a certain percentage of people on the planet Earth have the capability to do what he's doing. So, does that mean that you should do that? The answer is no. Right? It's just an anomaly. Like, anomaly happens. Right? So, replicating, getting those results, I mean, 1 in 10,000 will be able to do it, and if that, right? So, it's an exception that than the rule. right? So like my question to coaches would probably be, so the coach is telling me, oh, you know, this and that guy, he's like stomping it. I mean, I heard even like there's like Twisted Fate, AD, and he got to Challenger. But my first question would be, how many games did he play? That would be my first question. And second, how many other people in the world can replicate what he's doing? And the answer to that is no one. I doubt even Rangers can get Challenger in Korea playing AD Twisted Fate. It's just his brain is wired so well for this specific champion in that specific meta that he was able to do it. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that anybody can do it. Now, what if you watch this guy? He says, "Oh, you know, anybody can do what I do. It's just like it's some kind of a body's spiritual bullshit, right?" Because to him it feels natural. Like to him it feels natural. So I'm just saying that, you know, like if you give me an example of anomaly, I'm just gonna say, dude, that's just an anomaly. Like for example, no one can do day trading. Mathematically, it's just not possible to do day trading because everybody loses money who tries to, you know, stock pick, today buy low, tomorrow sell high, like time the market. But statistically speaking, like 1 in a million people can actually successfully day trade. Now there is certain people say it's just luck, but I mean there are people who can actually do day trading. They just understand how to do it, right? But it's very, very, very small percentage, and it's an exception rather than the rule. So I'm just saying that normally for people who are full-time working, full-time students, for whom League of Legends is not number one priority, there is literally nothing you can do to escape the loser skew. There's just nothing you can do. Because I was thinking, well, maybe I should play something like Riven, maybe I should play something like Jax. Again, like I've seen people who already done that, and they are very competent at their champions, they stomp their lane, but the problem is always the same. There's no escape from the loser skew. Take care.